Okay. Hi everyone, I'm MLinguist. This is my final live stream, like for the near future at least. I'm gonna remove the text because it's kind of misleading here. Okay, we're gonna remove that. This is my final live stream and it's gonna be on, oh my gosh. Okay, this is gonna be on just like some strategies that I found online for NACLO, because NACLO is in 2 days. And for the 24th, I'm going to be taking a break and just not touching any like problems. So I figured I'd just go over some strategies that I found online. So yeah, I gotta pull up my documents. Right, there we go. Okay. So, to start, let's just go over what NACLO is, right? What is NACLO? I'm assuming if you found this video, since I don't really spell out North American Computational Linguistics Olympiad in my like descriptions or anything, I'm assuming you know the premise of the competition. But I'll explain it anyway. So NACLO, or the North American Computational Linguistics Olympiad, is, or it might be the Open, North American Computational Linguistics Open. I don't really know what this O stands for, but it's not very important or relevant to the process, right? So, in NACLO, I feel like my mic is really loud, but in NACLO, if you want to compete in the, let's start from the end. Let's start from the end, not from the beginning. So the end is the International Linguistics Olympiad, or the International Olympiad of Linguistics, IOL, right? In order to qualify for IOL, various countries, so this is international, right? So various countries will have their own national linguistics olympiads. So for example, one example is UKLO, which is the United Kingdom's Linguistics Olympiad. And then another example is NACLO. NACLO is interesting in that it's the US, Canada, and I believe Mexico. I don't know if Mexico competes, but it's definitely the US and Canada included in NACLO. And basically it's a whole pool of those students. So they just do it together. And so NACLO has 2 rounds, right? We have the open round, which is in 2 days. And then we have the invitational round, which is in March. Hopefully you can't hear the clicks as much. I'm going to move my mic a little bit away from my mouse. Yeah, so we have the invitational round, which is in March. January, and then this is March. Right. So the open round, as its name suggests, is open to everybody, and it's completely free, by the way. Everything is completely free. So the open round, you register on the website, naclo.org. You select your location, whatever location is nearby. Usually it's at a local university or high school. And in this open round, you have to be in the top 10% of scorers in order to qualify for the invitational round. So usually the top 10% is around 60 out of 100 points. From the research that I've done, right? It's around 60 out of 100 points on the competition in the open round, right? In the invitational round, you take the invitational round in March, but there are only, at least if you're competing for the US, let's say you're competing for the US, right? The US is going to send 2 teams to the IOL. And those 2 teams will each have 4 people. So that means a total of 8 people. The top 8 will be selected from this invitational round, and then maybe there'll be a few like runner-ups who will be alternates. So 8 people plus alternates chosen for the actual International Linguistics Olympiad. And then after, if you pass the invitational round, and by the way, these 8 people are the top 8 scores in the invitational round. So not even the top 8 scores of the country. Not even the top 8 scores of the country. It would be the top 8 of the top 10%. So it's a very hard competition to place in and like to like actually get to the actual IOL, you know? So IOL is the final destination, and this year the IOL is in Brazil, but next year it'll be in Taiwan. So if I don't make it this year, the idea is that we will continue these live streams in order to make it to Taiwan next year, though I would love to go to Brazil. Anyway, let me go and grab the information that I found about NACLO. Let me see. Not able to find it actually. Let me see. Okay. Topic maybe. I'm on Discord right now. So basically, I could not find many resources for NACLO or like information about NACLO. So I resorted to scrolling through Discord servers and like Reddit posts to do my research. Right. Okay. So there's a Discord user in this one server that I'm in. It's called Linguistics League. And so they said that before anything on the test, the first thing, right, let's start with the format of the test. The test will be 3 hours long. And it typically has around 8 problems, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So 8 problems. A through H. They're numbered A through H, right? And so each of these problems will have varying levels of difficulty, right? But then again, like the difficulty level will be dependent on the individual person who is solving these problems. And each problem might have like a varying amount of points that you can get from the problem, right? So for example, this person has suggested to use a 1 to 3 rating scale, with it could be 1 being the hardest, 3 being the easiest. I'm going to do 3 as the hardest, so it's easy to hard, right? And to rank, before even starting on the competition, to rank each of these 8 problems on that 1 to 3 scale, and then to use that ranking to solve the problems in an order that will allow you to maximize the points that you get in those 3 hours. Because the main issue with NACLO problems is not that the problems are very, very hard. It's the time limit. The time limit of 3 hours is not enough to solve all 8 problems for me personally. Like it's definitely very hard to solve all 8 in the time given. So if you rank all the problems on a scale from 1 to 3, you will likely have probably a couple ones, and then majority twos, right? Because that's probably the way it's gonna, like, you're always gonna find easy problems, hopefully. And so you should always start with those easy problems so you already know you have some points in the bag. You've got some points. Maybe among these easy problems, there's one like algorithms-based problem, which is about 5 points. And then you have another like 15 or 10 point problem, right? So you would already have about 10 to 15 points just from these easy problems. Okay. And then after that, you move on to try one of the harder problems that you marked, right? So you have the 3. This 3 is like an attempt. You should like try to solve it, and it's going to take you longer. So just keep that in mind when you start the 3, that you have 10 to 15 in the bank already. These are all of your easy problems done. And if you have more than 2 easy problems, make sure you fit all of them in the beginning, because you want to make sure you get those points so that you can spend the time later working on harder problems that will get you those like last few points. Okay. So we have 1, 1, 3, right? We start with another harder problem. And so again, this is a pattern or like a strategy approach that works well for this particular person. Each person is going to have an approach that works slightly better or worse for them. So this 3 might not be something that you want in here. You might want to do the 2s after that, you know? But the suggested one that I saw in my research was 1, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. So basically what you're doing then is you're just alternating between hard and easier. Not easy, because you've already finished the easy. This is a separate section, right? And then you're just doing 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. I think one system that might work better for me personally is to do 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. Though I might get more fatigued, I think that this system would work better for me personally, because I know that during this 3 problem, I'm going to be like thinking about how I have 2 more 2s left to do, and I have like so much more stuff that I need to do, and that might compound my stress a little more. So I feel like just making sure, you're gonna have to think about it a lot on your own, because just making sure, not just making sure, you just have to make sure that your process, your procedure for going through the test and solving problems works for your specific strengths and weaknesses. For example, my 1-type problems would be algorithms. It would be simple, algorithms. It would be simple translations, right? And you can also rank these on like how fun you find the problems. Primarily rank them on how easy they are, but if, for example, you hate algorithmic problems, but you love the simple translation problems, do the translation one first. Get that fun, easy problem done, and then move on to a slightly harder problem. Make sure you maximize your points, because it's likely that if you like a certain type of problem, you're going to be good at it. It's likely. I mean, maybe you find 3s hard. Maybe you find harder problems, like 3s, more fun to do because they're challenging. And I get that, but save them for last then. End the competition on a good note. But yeah, that's what I got. All right. Let's go over, we can do how to solve a problem generically. I've made a couple approach videos before, but this is just like going off the top of my head. We're preparing for comp day. Here's what you need to do. So let's say you have the problem. Oh my. You have this problem sheet, right? And let's say it's like it's one of 2 pages. Usually, if it's one of 2 pages, the first page will have information on it, right? And what you want to do is, I like to skip the info first, okay? Skip the info, but you're definitely going to need to come back to it. Look at the problems. The problems will be on the next page, let's say, right? So it's going to say 2 of 2, and then the problems will be there, right? Look at what you need to know in order to solve the problems accurately. So say, for example, it's asking you to write sentences, right? It's not asking you to translate certain words, because if it was asking you to only translate certain words, you could easily just go up to the text, go up to whatever information you have, and pick out words, right? You know from the question, right? But from the question in this scenario, you know that you need to translate sentences, which means you need to know a variety of things. You need to know the subject, verb, object order. You need to know how verbs are conjugated. You need to know the vocabulary, obviously, vocab, right? But you need to know a lot more. So it's better to just read the questions, see what you need to look for and what you need, so that when you go up to the information, you can read it more intentionally and be more efficient in what you pull out from the text. So, yeah. What else was I going to say? Oh, next, right? When you're going about figuring out these aspects that you've already figured out that you've already pulled from the question that you need to know, right? You know you need to know SVO order, you know you need to know conjugation, you know you need to know vocab. Vocabs, I don't know if it'll work so much with this strategy, but for SVO order and conjugation, it definitely works, especially with conjugation. I like to keep track of my assumptions. So I go A1, right? And then I say that, let's say, I'm going to do for Spanish, for example. Here's a table of conjugations, because I have o, as, a, amos, on, right? So this is a table of the AR ending verbs in present tense, conjugated, right? I don't know that though. So say I'm reading a text in Spanish and I'm like, I think that verbs that end in O means I. It's relating to I did blank. I blank, you know? That is the verb. It's signifying that the person who is speaking, first person, did this, right? I would put that as assumption 1. And then if I make any sentences with assumption 1, I put a little marker, A1. Now, of course, you don't have to write A1. You can do stars, you can do circles, you can do whatever you want. Just mark where your assumptions match where you used your assumptions in your answers. So then if I realize, oh no, I actually meant, say it was wrong, right? And it was actually A, an ending of A, like habla was the yo form. Habla was I talk instead of she talks or he talks, right? You would know that, hey, I made a change to A1, so I should go down and change my answers that involve A1. So that's just a way I stayed organized, because one of the issues that I was having in my practice was I was going and I was making a bunch of assumptions in my head, and then I was forgetting which problems I used those assumptions for. Yeah. Don't be afraid to make assumptions and think through them. And if you're, okay, Now let's go over what to do if you're stuck. So if you're stuck, say you're stuck on a problem, right? First thing I would do, go back to the info text and just read it super carefully. Like, look at every little thing. Even the footnotes at the bottom of the page can help. Just look at every single piece of information they give you, because these problems have been structured in such a way that you can find an answer to them. Like, there is an answer. And linguists and high schoolers have tested it out, and there is a way to find the answer. So look through the info that you are given very, very carefully. Next, I would say just stop looking at it, you know? Like, go and work on another problem. Take a little break. Take a little break, because sometimes you have to look away and divert your focus elsewhere. Maybe go work on another problem, which is why it's good to have like the 3-2-2 pattern. Because if you're working on a hard problem like 3, you can start working on 2 when you're feeling like frustrated and feel like you're not making any headway. You can start working on 2. Let me zoom in a little bit so that y'all can see it better. You can start working on 2 to just get your brain in a different place and like work on something else, right? And then come back to 3. Come back to the problem. Or maybe it's a specific part of the problem that you're struggling with. Go down. Go to the next question. See what's there. If there's no next question, obviously go to the next problem, but there's usually multiple questions in the problem, and if they give you any extra data in the second question, for example, say they give you a table of some word translations, you can pull from that. You can pull from that to answer the first question. Any information is free game to use. Yeah. It's really important, though, to read the information section, because sometimes they even give you clues as to as to how you can get an answer. So, for example, there was one problem, I don't remember which test it was from. I think it was from 2018 or 2019. But basically, they gave us a hint about one of the answers for a problem within the problem text itself. It said, hint, this can be found in the previous page. The translation for this, or the answer for this, can be found in the previous page. And so that made it so much easier and faster to find that answer, especially because it was a complicated one. So you should just, like, I would definitely read the information very thoroughly. Pay attention to the information. And really, really pay attention to details. This is not like a big picture test. Like, you definitely have to pay attention to detail. Look at the problem, read it carefully, read it closely, and make assumptions based on that detail that you pull out of it. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. I've covered, let's see. Oops, where'd it go? Okay, I've covered how long it is. I've covered the process for that. How long it is, problem approach, individual problem approach, and then, like, if you're stuck. Let me think about what else we can do, because I expected this to go a little longer. I did not expect to talk this fast. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me look. Okay. The thing is, NACLO is not really a test. So let me talk about studying or like practicing. I know we're 2 days out, but let me just talk about that. NACLO is not a test that you can really study for. It doesn't require you to memorize concepts. You know, you don't need to know. You can go into NACLO not knowing anything. You can go into NACLO with zero experience and still come out of it with a good score, because it is all about finding patterns. Patterns, patterns, patterns. Right? NACLO is patterns. All of the problems are just finding patterns and emulating those patterns in questions. Particularly, these are the patterns of language, right? But it can be applied to any other concept. Like, you cannot study how to find patterns. You just have to practice finding them. Which is why I don't like saying, like, study with me for NACLO. I like saying practice with me, because I am practicing. I'm not studying for it. But if you were going to study, I would say you could study popular computation. Even then, like, there's so much in the world of computational linguistics. I do not recommend you study. You can study algorithms / frameworks. In computational linguistics. I would only recommend studying these if you're like actually interested in going into computational linguistics and this is like a self-study fun type thing, because do not study this stuff for NACLO. It is not worth it's not worth putting in time and effort into studying when you don't even have a guarantee that half of these things are going to be on the exam, or even like 1%, you know? There probably will be an algorithms-based problem, but from the millions, probably from the thousands of algorithms that they have to choose from, the likelihood that it's going to be one of the, say, 100 algorithms that you know is very small, or it is small. Though I have seen a few algorithms that I know, that I am aware of. So, algorithms and frameworks in computational linguistics, some examples could be bag of words. So, my experience with bag of words, this is one that I saw in a problem actually. I think it was from, I believe it was from 2021 or 2022. It might have been from 2007. Actually, no, it wouldn't have been from 2007. But I've only gone as far back as like 2018. And then I did 2007, 2008, 2009. Because I realized that they kind of changed the point format of the exam. Anyway, so bag of words is a framework, because I did a research project about 2 years ago. And in that, I compared 6 different types of NLP, natural language processing techniques. And among them, 3 of the techniques that I compared in the study were bag of words techniques. They used the bag of words like concept. So that's why I was very familiar with bag of words. And I feel like the only benefit you gain from studying this is that you'll just be faster. So if time is an issue for you, maybe study, but don't study. It's not worth studying. It's not worth putting in so much time trying to learn these more higher level concepts just so that you shave off like 2 minutes of reading time, you know? So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Let's see, what else can we do? most of this, yeah, most of the things I've seen. Yeah, recognizing patterns. I'm on Reddit now. I'm looking for new tips that I have not shared. Um, hmm. Yeah. So that's the that's all the advice I have so far. I can tell you a bit about the schedule that I would recommend someone who's competing, just so that we make it to at least like 5:20, you know. I don't want to cut off the stream so quickly because I want our last stream to be at least a substantial amount of time. I don't want it to be like cut short. But at the same time, I don't want to ramble. So let's just go and let me pull up the email I received from the university that I'm testing at. Let's see. NACLO competition of January 25th. Instructions. Right. So from the email that I'm reading right now, there's a check-in. You have to check in because so that makes sense because you registered on the website. So you're going to have to check in, which means that I would probably aim to arrive at the venue by about 8:30 because my competition starts at 9:30 a.m., right? So I would aim to arrive at about 8:30 a.m. Come early, and you never know what's going to happen, you know? Come early, especially if you haven't been to the venue before and you don't know your way around. Come extra early. Come at 8:15, right? Next, you get checked in. You sit down. 9 a.m. From what I see, there are no breaks in the competition. So you're going to be sitting for 3 hours in this competition and you're going to be like doing problems the whole time because 3 hours is not enough time to finish the problems, as I said before. So you're going to have to not lift up your pencil, not lift up your head. You're going to be working. So I would recommend waking up, depending on your commute time, waking up and then eating a good breakfast. Eat breakfast because you're going to be there for a while. You can try and maybe bring a snack. I would bring a water bottle. Here. Water. Let's make a list. Water, bring. Water. Number 2 pencils. Oops. So we need to bring water, number 2 pencils, eraser, and I think that's it. Yeah, you need to bring number 2 pencils and an eraser in order to mark your answer sheets. I would say for the number 2 pencils, if you are bringing mechanical pencils, I would bring a backup. Because certain like standardized tests or exams or competitions can be like strict about bringing in mechanical pencils. They kind of prefer that you use wooden pencils to like fill in the bubbles and stuff like that, because they can like better assure that it's number 2 and HB and like, yeah, that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's, so you got pencils, erasers, probably no pens. You got to know your registration number. They might give it to you, but I'm going to memorize it just in case, because I'm a little extra like that. Yeah. So just 4 things. I might even like print out like a registration confirmation just so you can like make check-in process easier. And that way you have your registration number with you. Yeah, because you probably have the confirmation email. So just like print that out. I think that would be fine. And if they don't let you bring it in, then just recycle it. Yeah. Awesome. Again, make sure you look at the location beforehand. Not like look at it physically, but make sure you look at the maps and you know where you have to go. If you have any questions, be sure to email. I think you can email. Yeah. If you have any questions, I would just reply to the email that you got. It usually says, like, every location will likely send an email with instructions about what to do and when to come for the competition. I will let y'all know how it goes and how organized it is, because I am testing at a pretty big public university. Though the competition is only middle and high, it's also going to be during college, like while college is going on. So I'll let you know how that goes. I'll let you know how crowded it is and stuff like that. But yeah, this is what to bring. This is a schedule, and then you'll be up/done by 12 p.m., right? And then I would go for lunch. Treat yourself. Go out for lunch maybe. Or don't. Go back home. I'm not going to school, but you could go to school if you have a full day. We've got half days this whole week because it's finals. So yeah, that's the plan. That's what I'm going to be doing on Thursday. And if you're doing this on Thursday, good luck to you. Let me do a quick summary of what we've done so far. I have done, on this channel, let me find this. On this channel, I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 total live streams. And 3 videos in the past 2 weeks. So I really hope that these are helpful. And if you have any recommendations of videos that you want me to make about NACLO or about anything computational linguistics related, please let me know. I can most definitely make those. Again, I mentioned in a previous stream that I was working on a video about n-grams. That should be out soon. I'm just a little stressed about NACLO, so I'm going to probably wait until the competition is over, make a reflection video or do a reflection live stream, and then start working on more NLP, natural language processing focused videos. So keep an eye out for those. I really hope that these 19 videos, that's a lot actually. I really hope these 19 videos were helpful for you. And yeah, good luck with the competition. I'm wishing everybody the best. And yeah, fingers crossed. I hope I see you in Brazil. Hope we see each other. That's really far out though, so yeah. Thank you, everyone.